Alright guys, on today's video we're going to review and talk about ye old metric system. Um, so, we talked about it a lot in class, but this is kind of a review, a helper outer course, if we need to remember how much or how many and all that kind of stuff. So, here's our basic units that I'm going to expect you to remember, okay? Got K, kilo, H, hecto, deca. We said base or units. Either one is perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter what we call it. D for deca, C, centi, M, milli. Okay. Our units that we use are meters, liters, grams. All right. Little m, big L, little g. Okay. Now let's go back through and talk about each one of these units. All right. Kilo. For every 1 kilo, it is 1,000 times bigger than our base. All right. Hecto is 100 times bigger than our base. Deca is 10 times bigger than our base. So if I have if I have 1 kilo, I have 1,000 of whatever I'm talking about. So if I have a kilogram, I have 1,000 grams. If I have 1 hectogram, I have 100 grams. If I have 1 decagram, I have 10 grams. Okay. Then on the flip side, okay, these are, so you got your base or your 1. Okay. These on this side are smaller. Okay. So deci is 1/10. Okay. So for every 1 liter, you would have 10 deciliters. For every 1 centiliter, you would have, for every 1 liter, you would have 100 centiliters. It means it is 1/100th of a unit, or meters, liters, or grams. And then last is milli, which for every 1 unit, you have 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so 1 liter would be 1,000 milliliters, and so forth, whatever the case may be. Okay, so that's just kind of a basic, quick overview of the chart that we talked about. Now let's do some conversions. All right, so we're going to convert 2 kilometers into meters. Now, this is how Mr. Rogers prescribes we do it, and that's the way I want to do it. Okay, so 20 kilometers. Now set it up like this. You can use parentheses. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to go 2 meters. Now, if it's on top, okay, to cancel it out, we need it on bottom. So we put our starting unit, our original unit, on bottom. They'll cancel out. We look back at our chart. All right, which unit is larger? Is a kilometer unit 1 kilometer bigger or 1 meter bigger? 1 kilometer is bigger, so we're going to put the 1 there. Now, how many meters are in a kilometer? That is 1,000. Okay, so then we multiply 2 times 1,000, gives us 2,000 meters. We divide by 1. 2,000 divided by 1 is 2,000. So that is our final answer. All right, next. 3.4 meters to millimeters. So this time we're going to millimeters. Okay. Once again, the process is the same. Unit that we start with goes here. Which one is larger, meters or millimeters? Meters is larger, so it gets the 1. 1,000. We end up with 3,400. Okay, so 3.4 times 1,000 divided by 1 is 3,400 millimeters. All right, a little bit harder one, okay? We're going from we're going from hecta to decagrams. So we start with 4.5, just like always. Hectograms to decagrams. You also see it DG or DAG. Both of them are acceptable. All right, process is the same, okay? HG on bottom, that way they cancel out, okay? Which one is bigger, hecta or deca? Hecto is bigger, so it gets the 1. Now, if we look at our chart, okay, deca is only kind of one jump or one movement over. Since it is a base 10 unit, that means it is only 10 times the size, or 10 times smaller in this case. So for every 1 hecto, you have 10 deca, okay? So 4.5 times 10 gives us 45, divided by 1 gives us 45, DAG, or capital DG, okay? All right, let's do little d, deci, to milliliters, okay? So we got 5.6 deciliters to milliliters. Process, once again, is the exact same. Deciliters goes on bottom. Which one is larger? In this case, it's deciliters. We got milliliters on top, so we end up with. Now, for this one, deci and milli are 2 jumps apart. So that means for every 1 deciliter, you have 100 milliliters. So multiply, divide, end up with 5.6. Oh, sorry. Made a boo-boo. 56. All right, 2 boo-boos, it's okay. 560 milliliters. All right, sorry, apparently I can't do math today. All right, now this is the big one. We're gonna kind of do this. There's 2 ways to do this. I'm gonna show you the way I really believe it should be done, but I'll show you the way it can be done as well. So here we got 7.6 kilometers, okay? We're making a big jump to millimeters. Now, I've given this example. Let's say we're traveling from New York to Miami, okay? You are not going to make that trip in one, city, right? You won't have to stop. So, this is our stopping point. Now, we're going to stop at the base unit, okay? So, process is the same. Kilometers on top, kilometers on bottom. So, we're stopping at our base unit, which is meters, okay? Now, we're not in the unit we want, so this is the unit we have right now, but it's not the one we ultimately want. So, meters is going to go here, okay? So, now we go back and fill in the blanks. Which long wind is larger, kilometers or meters? Kilometers is larger. There's 1,000 meters in every kilometer. Is meters or millimeters larger? Meters is larger. There's 1,000 millimeters in every meter. Okay. So, then we do our multiplication. 7.6 times 1,000 times 1,000 is going to give us 7,600,000 millimeters. Okay? Last but not least, we're going to do this, but just backwards. Okay? So, 8.9 millimeters. Okay, like I said, we're gonna make 2 jumps because this is a long travel. There's our stop. Millimeters on bottom. We're going to stop at the base unit, which is meters. Okay, so which one is larger? Meters is larger, so it gets the 1. We get 1,000. For every 1 meter, there's 1,000 millimeters. Okay, we're not in the unit we want kilometers. Okay, which one is larger? Kilometers is larger. For every 1 kilometer, there is 1,000 meters. So now we multiply across the top, divide across the bottom. Units cancel. We're left with kilometers. So we end up with 8.9 divided by multiply these two together, divided by 1, whoops, think like that, comma's not there, 1 million, okay? So 8.9 divided by 1 million equals 0.0 89, okay? Kilometers. And this makes sense because this is a fairly small amount. 8.9 millimeters is a fairly small amount, so it's going to be a very small amount of kilometers. All right, so that's it. That's kind of the overview or review of the metric system and unit conversion.